Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Darth Loquitur. I'm an experienced player, recently started a second account with a focus on trying to do well in the early grand arenas. This video series is intended to help newer players understand how to play in grand arena, what kind of things work, and act as a template for new players to start an account if they're not going with the hyperdrive bundle. Today we're going to talk about the Imperial Troopers team that I have selected, and this isn't a typical early game team that you would see. It is quite gear intensive, and it is quite intensive in terms of Zetas. We need at least 2 Zetas to make this team run, and potentially 3. So we're going to talk about why it is that we would start out with an Imperial Troopers team right away, and a little bit about what each trooper does on the team and how we're going to make that work. So the purpose of this team in the grand arenas is this overpower offense mechanic that they have, and we're going to beat squads that have a lot of recovery. So there's certain early game squads, Geonosians, Phoenix Squad has a lot of different heal and recovery mechanics. The Night Sisters have revive mechanics, and the zombie keeps coming back 100 times. And the Imperial Troopers are a way to get around some of those really chunky early game teams because they can just do so much damage so fast that we should be able to overpower the other teams. They have turn meter mechanics that are exceptional, and it's something that'll last you not only just early game grand arenas, but for a long time. If you get this Imperial Trooper team up and running, there's a lot of teams that'll take out, a lot of really good teams. The downside is it does take 2 Zetas to run, a third to take it to the next level, at least. So it's a pretty resource intensive team. So the first character we want to talk about is Veers, and he's really the heart and soul of this Imperial Trooper team. His leadership, Empire allies gain 30% offense, and Imperial Trooper allies gain 20 speed and 10% turn meter whenever they gain a buff. That sentence is written pretty awkwardly. The 20 speed is just something that all Imperial Troopers have at the start of the encounter. So let's say your Veers is 290 speed. When the encounter starts, he'll be 310 speed, so it just adds that 20. And then the second part of that, whenever they gain a buff, they get 10% turn meter. So that's something that's constantly going that allows you to keep these characters taking turn after turn after turn. In terms of his passive skill, there's even more turn meter, this other box down here. Whenever an enemy is defeated while Veers is active, Trooper allies gain offense up and 50% turn meter and recover 10% protection. And that's just a huge stack of good stuff, right? It's offense up for more offense, it's turn meter gain for another turn, it's protection recovery, and in Grand Arena, you get points based on how many characters are alive when you finish and win the battle, how many characters are at full health, and how many characters are at full protection. So if the other team gets to take a few turns, knocks a few holes in these troopers with this protection recovery mechanic, you can a lot of times still finish with a perfect score on banners. And while Veers is active, Imperial Troopers have 15% critical chance. So this passive is so good, you really have to try to keep Veers alive. You want this passive around. His leadership, even if he gets killed, the leadership still is active, but he has to be alive for this passive, and we really need that. So for mods, we're going to mod him for speed, but we're going to watch out to give him a little bit of extra health and protection, particularly protection because he's got that protection recovery mechanic. But Veers' main job is to stay alive. Getting a little offense on him is also good. All of your troopers, the more damage they can do, the faster this whole thing will go. Stark. So if Veers is the engine to drive the troopers, then Stark is the one that starts the engine, right? So we want to go first with Stark. So Stark is all about speed, more speed. If anybody's not aware, when you go from gear 12 to gear 13, those gear pieces give you 6 speed, and 8 speed respectively for the gear pieces on the right-hand side. So all characters get 20 speed going from gear 12 to gear 13. And that's something that we're going to have to do If not right away with Stark, pretty quickly we're going to have to focus on getting him at least a couple of those gear pieces. Because in order for all of this to work, Stark really must go first. He must go faster than the opponent, any character on the opposing team. And the first skill you want to use is to scan all wavelengths. And that's the first box up here. Empire allies gain critical chance up, critical damage up for 3 turns. And Stark gains 5% for each Empire ally and each Rebel enemy. So you can't assume that you're playing Rebels, but still that's 25% turn meter for having 5 troopers on your team. So he goes, he buffs people up. Everybody gets turn meter because of the buffs, plus he gets extra turn meter from that. So he's already well on his way to taking his next turn. Then his passive will take away 10% turn meter with his Zeta. So if you read this, it removes 1% turn meter from all enemies for each active Empire ally and doubled for Imperial Troopers. So with 5 Imperial Troopers on the same team, that's 5%, doubled 10%. So not only does he go first and give your guys a bunch of turn meter, he takes away turn meter from the opposite team, making it harder for them to get in there and interrupt you and take a turn. So for mods, speed, more speed. If we can get a little bit of health or protection in there, that's good to keep him alive. If we get some offense in there, again, anytime you can get offense on these troopers, that's a good thing. Then Piett, when we get the Zeta on him, he's an accelerant because of Emperor's Trap. Early game, I don't know if we're going to be able to afford that 3rd Zeta right away. So his job is mostly going to be to chuck the Stormtrooper under the bus. So he has a ability that all allies gain offense up for 2 turns. He gains stealth for 2 turns, and he inflicts marked for 2 turns on Empire ally. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark our Stormtrooper and just chuck him under the bus. When you're marked, it's a forced taunt, and it can't be removed. A lot of teams have some kind of buff removals that make it really hard. He's supposed to be able to, the Stormtrooper's supposed to be able to taunt for 3 turns, but as soon as he puts the taunt up, Ezra Bridger on Phoenix or Chopper has a move that removes it. If Ahsoka Tano's on the other team, her basic removes buffs. So it's really difficult against certain teams to ever say that you're going to keep a buff up. But with the marked, it goes up, it stays up, and they're going to have to focus on this Stormtrooper at least for the first turn or 2. And that's all he's there for. He's there to take punches so the rest of our guys can do damage and kill everything. Then when you do get the Zeta on him, this Emperor's Trap, whenever an Empire ally begins a turn or attacks out of turn, all Empire allies gain a stack of the trap, and it's 6% offense and potency per stack. So what happens is you got this train going, right? So Stark went first, now Piett's going to go, and then Veers is going to go, and then your 2 damage dealers are going to go. And you're getting these stacks up so that by the time you get back around to Stark, you've already got 30% additional offense and potency, which means that for some of these, for Snowtrooper, for example, you have to have crit chance on him so that he definitely gets critical hits with his damage. For a lot of these other guys, you're just looking for offense because you're getting offense up, and then Emperor's Trap is going to multiply offense. So offense is really the way to get this team doing crazy damage. And then Snowtrooper goes, and that's your big boom, right? He's got this area effect, deal physical damage to all enemies, gain critical damage up for 2 turns, and then for each critical hit scored, reduce the cooldown. So you want him at or above 100% critical chance, and you want him to crit everybody when he does this. It's a 4-turn cooldown, but as long as you get 3 crits, it turns it to a 1-turn cooldown, so you're pretty much assured that this is just going to be over and over and over. Every time it's your turn, you're just going to hit with this overwhelming assault and put down massive damage. Now, we want this guy to be probably the best geared character on the team. We really want him to do just a ton of damage when he hits with this ability. If you look at his passive, he gains 30% turn meter when any unit is defeated, and other Empire allies gain half that amount. And while he's active, everybody has 20% critical damage. So you've already got critical chance up and critical damage up from Stark's buff, and then you get more critical damage here, and you're going to mod this character for offense and crit chance. And assuming that you get enough offense and crit chance, then your triangle can be crit damage also. And with the offense, the crit damage on your abilities over here, this attack just hits for a ton. And if you kill something with this attack, it's 80% turn meter, because you're getting 30% turn meter here from this. And remember, under Veers' leadership, when anything dies, you gain 50% turn meter. So if he kills somebody with this ability, he is virtually ready to go again. And it'll come back around to Stark. I think Stark and Piett will probably both take turns again before Snowtrooper does. But you can see, I mean, just refilling the turn meter and going crazy with this. And if it comes back around to his turn again, he just pulls the trigger again. Now the Geos, for example, have that ability that equalizes all their health and protection. But as long as we can keep attacking with this area effect, the next trooper to go is going to be able to do enough damage to potentially kill a Geo, because they're all going to get so low on life and protection so quickly with these big hits. That's the point. And then Stormtrooper. The reason we're building Stormtrooper early is because he can be purchased with Cantina currency out of the Cantina shipment store. And that allows us to build our 5th trooper without needing to farm a hard node or go after one of the other things in the Cantina, because we've got a lot of things that we're already planning to farm out of the Cantina. So this just gives us a 5th trooper that we can bring up to a good level. And on this team, your Stark will be good, your Stormtrooper or your Snowtrooper will be the best. And, we can invest enough to make this Stormtrooper pretty tough, because we'll be able to get him to 7 stars, gear him up decently pretty early game. So we got to make it so that he can take a few hits. So the Stormtrooper's ability is that he gains 40% defense for each living Empire ally, and it gives other Imperial Troopers some defense, which isn't that important. But just suffice to say, he has 200% additional defense. So if we can mod him up for a whole lot of defense, defense on the triangle, defense on the cross, potentially even defense mods, speed doesn't matter. We can do some protection on him too, because we have the protection recovery mechanic. So protection is better than health on the circle, for example, and protection substats and defense substats. So we're just looking to make this guy tanky. Don't care how fast he goes. He doesn't need to go early to get his taunt up, because Piett's going to throw him under the bus anyway. So, and eventually, once we are able to farm up a ranged trooper, that's going to take over the spot from Stormtrooper, because it has an assist mechanic, and it increases your damage potential even more by giving every time somebody takes a turn, you get a chance that your other Imperials assist. So ranged troopers probably long term who we're going to fit in that 5th slot. But to start out, just for the ease of building the early account, we're going to take the Stormtrooper, because he's pretty easy to get. And once he gets replaced in this squad, it's not bad to have a tank in another Imperial team. So we're going to have Vader floating around somewhere, potentially with the Emperor Palpatine, and having a Stormtrooper in there to be a defensive character. It's not a bad idea. We may have to remod him and make him a little faster if he's in a team like that, but the character won't go to waste in the early game. So the team order matters, like I said. So Stark goes first, scans all wavelengths, pumps turn meter to everybody. Piett goes next, give offense up. And that's important, right? We want the crit chance, crit damage, and then the offense all layered up. That gives us turn meter, and we're fueling up our troopers. And then Veers has this attack where everybody assists, so he's going to do that. And ideally, if you can do that to a character and not kill them, leave them on a sliver of life, that's what's perfect. And then the Snowtrooper goes, does his big area effect damage, kills that thing that you've weakened, and that boosts up everybody's turn meter by 50%, and now you're back to going again. And the Stormtrooper, can use his basic attack to finish somebody off. So if your Snowtrooper goes and you still haven't killed anybody, then that Stormtrooper really needs to find somebody and sink that last shot. And his basic attack has high damage variance, so you can get a pretty weak hit off of this, but you can also get a really strong hit off your Stormtrooper. So he'll need to finish somebody off potentially, or he can taunt if our turn meter train's running real good. If he does taunt, and then they damage him while he's taunting, that takes away turn meter from the opponent. So he also has a mechanic for turn meter. It's just not very reliable, again, because the taunt gets removed, and that turn meter removal for Stormtrooper only works while he actually has the taunt on. But the whole point of this team is to finish the fight before the opponent goes. And if they have one or two really tough characters on the squad, you may end up still, running out of your turn meter train without being able to kill that last one or two people. But then your protection recovery mechanic is there, and you just, finish it out and, take your banners. So who can we beat with troopers? Now, the whole idea here, we're going to take these area effect things, the hard hits, the offense with stacking offense, crit hits, all that makes our troopers hit hard. And we're going to take down Geo squads with that. Night Sisters, again, if they have a weak zombie in there and the zombie dies and comes back every time that you kill it, anytime that we need turn meter, we can just go over there and thump the zombie. And yeah, the zombie's going to come back, but it'll give us 50% turn meter, and we'll take 1 billion turns around these Night Sisters. Bounty Hunters, same way. Boba Fett, Jango Fett, they all have the revive ability. Mandalorian comes back to life one time. So with that Bounty Hunter's resolve, it doesn't matter. We kill them the first time, they give us turn meter. We kill them the second time, they give us turn meter, and run circles around the Bounty Hunters too. There are a few teams that you have to be very careful with the Imperial Troopers. One of them is Hux. His dominance prevents turn meter gain on the opposing team. So stuff like that you got to watch out for. You have to, if you don't know the character's abilities when you fight them, and you have this, for example, on offense in a grand arena, you got to know what you're fighting before you just click the button and fight it. Otherwise, you might end up putting yourself in an unwinnable situation against something that's preventing your turn meter. And turn meter prevention kills this team, make no mistake. And the protection recovery mechanic, again, we're going for high banners in Grand Arena, so that helps with that. Now, Moff Gideon is not in my list, and Admiral Piett is, and both of them are still on slow shard generation. And, I've seen the videos of what Moff Gideon can do. I've got a Moff Gideon on my main account. I went ahead and invested in him and got him relicked out already. And he's really good in some other teams. In the team that I'm trying to use to beat Skywalker, Moff Gideon is good because he goes first. He removes all their turn meter, and he gets me the turn advantage right away for a team that I need to use to kill General Anakin Skywalker. So Moff Gideon is good. He's a good character, but I don't think his purpose is best in a team like this. And if they ever decide to go with accelerated shards where, if I could get Moff Gideon and get him 2 shards at a time off of a node, I might go for Moff Gideon. He's a really good character. But early game, even with Piett, we're going to be stuck with Piett for a while at 3 stars, maybe something like that, because it's really going to take a long time to farm his shards, and I want him on the team. But that's why we haven't gone for Moff Gideon, even though he's a new character and he's very good. All right, I also want to take a couple questions. I've had some people who watch my channel message me and ask a couple things that maybe I could clear up. And one of them is why am I not working on an arena team? I've said several times that I'm looking to place in the top 1,000, and that doesn't seem very ambitious. And the answer to that is because I have pilots. So I don't intend to really build a team because I'm much more focused on my pilots. So you see on my account, Kylo Ren, pilot, Geo Soldier, pilot, Spy, Ahsoka Tano, pilot. Darth Vader, I don't have his ship up and running yet, but he's a pilot and, could have a ship someday. Fives, pilot. Boba Fett, pilot. Sun Fac, pilot. Akbar, pilot. So all of my top characters up here, everybody who's up here that I'm focused on has a ship. And then characters like Count Dooku, he's a really good character, but he's lagging behind. And Poggle, you see over here, I'm close to, I could finish out Poggle and get him geared up to the next gear tier. But these guys take a back seat to the pilots because we're really focused on getting a high placement in fleet. Fleet is where we're getting currency that we want. That helps us, buy the things that we need out of the fleet store. And frankly, most people in the game don't put as much emphasis on fleet. So that allows us the opportunity to be able to place higher in fleet, which gets us rewards that we want. So if we look at, if we want to look at a video of how my pilots play, let's see if we can get this brought up. So here's what it looks like with a pilot team that's going into the arena. Here I'm deciding whether I want to put in Boba Fett or the soldier. My soldier currently does more damage, but Boba Fett gives me ability blocks. So I'm up against a pretty good separatist team, as you can see. They pretty much just one-shot my Boba Fett and get him out of there. I'm going to stun the Newt Gunray, put a debuffs on everybody with Vader. And as you can see, early game, they're owning me. Now I'm just going to take out Dooku in one hit with my spy. That even things up a little bit. I don't have to worry about all his counterattacks. Vader's going to go in after this Geo Spy because he's out in the open. Now he takes an attack on the assist and goes back under stealth. Ahsoka's almost dead. I put up the exposes here, and now I'm debating with Kylo what I want to do, and I just take the attack here without the taunt, and then Spy takes out Ahsoka Tano. So that's fine with me. And then we're just going to work a little bit here, stun Sun Fac, come back over, and I think, Poggle the Lesser, we're going to one-shot him, almost kill him. Vader's going to finish him off. And then we do the Force Crush again, get everything going there. And so now we're three against 3. We're going to take the currency off and see if we can take out Newt Gunray here. And Kylo's just getting beat up, so Spy's out of stealth again, so we finish him off. Then we take out Sun Fac, just do a lot of damage, do a heal up. It's more important than a taunt right now. Take the currency off again, the extortion, and now it's just 3 against Newt. It's no problem, we'll finish him off. So even though this team is not, Kylo's leadership is helping Kylo, that's it. But you see he tanks really well. Vader does damage, the spies are ace in the hole. Most of these characters have really bad mods on them because I don't want to mod them until I have mods that are good enough. So the Spy has good mods, Kylo has decent mods, Vader's mods are complete trash. So we can make all these characters better, but the point is, I'm number 364. I'm getting some rewards, and the amount that you would have to do in moving up the ranks to better rewards is diminishing returns, right? It's not really worth it. So we're happy with our top 1,000. We're focused on pilots, and our pilots are doing okay. I mean, the pilots get us currency to help do refreshes every day, and that's enough. We're not going crazy trying to get a awesome pilot team up and running, or a awesome arena team up and running. So with regards to, I've had a disbeliever who tells me that I can't be beating people with the hyperdrive bundle with my level 77 ships. And here I'm at rank 14, and I'm looking to go to rank 9, and I'm checking out this guy's ships, right? Like you want to look and see how bad it is. And this guy is 85, and he's got level 85 characters. And the skills are pretty good, but we think we can work around his setup. So here we go. We're going in against a team that's about 40 to 50,000 higher than us. Put a stun on Ahsoka. And the big thing is to avoid hitting the ghost. And you can see they take out Sun Fac pretty quickly. That's his job, to soak up the early punishment. We do the assist, spy, assist with him. Now it's 2-2, and we've evened up the score. We'll go here. We'll go after Sabine. We get a dodge there. That's disappointing, and that could, change the course of the battle. But we're going to recover from that. So here I'm thinking about bringing in Ahsoka Tano because she does a lot of damage, and it would be good. But I'm afraid of Boba Fett because Boba Fett is such a good reinforce off of this ship. So I decided to bring the spy in for the assists, and we just damage down Biggs here, get him close. He gets healed up, but it should be no problem for us. We're going to heal up the spy here. Continue to work on Biggs and get him out of there. Yeah, we're taking damage over here too. So back to 2-2. Now he brings in a reinforcement, or 3-2, and it is the Boba Fett, the Slave One. So now I can bring in my Ahsoka Tano. I can get rid of the buffs off of Slave One, so I don't have to worry about that attacks back from him. Attacks back with Slave One under the Home One capital ship are really good because you get bonus protection for attacks out of turn. So every time he counterattacks, he also gets bonus protection. So during that initial phase when he's taunting and retaliating against everything you do, it really it's hard to get through him because he keeps putting up that bonus protection. So we get rid of that, we work through him, and now we just got the Ghost and the Phantom, and he got his ult off, and he's taken multiple turns. So we're going to get our ult here in a second. Yep, there it goes. And then we're just going to finish off Sabine Wren, finish out the Ghost. And, we're punching up, so to speak. We're hitting stuff. I think he's going to reinforce here, isn't he? Yeah, I don't think we get him. I don't think we get him before we finish this ship. Yeah, so gives me another target that I got to finish, but I'm in pretty good shape here. We got back Ahsoka's big ability. We're just going to go for the damage here. Then we'll finish off Wedge here in a few shots. That's it. So on our fleet shard, I think this puts us at number 9 for the day, something like that. Yeah. So that's pretty good. And then if we look, I think we've got another video here that we can share that doesn't go so well. So here I'm looking at a team, and their Syndulla is gear 12 already, and the skills are really high. And then I open this up, and the chopper's already at gear 12, and the skills are really high. And I'm thinking, I probably can't beat that guy. So we take a look at this other fleet. He's 191. The Kylo Ren's got good skills. The ship's at 85. The skills are high on this, and they're all at 85. But I think I got a chance simply because the Xanadu Blood isn't that great of a starting ship, and the Consular is annoying, but you can usually pick it off pretty quickly. So I go after the Consular first. Now the thing about Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer, you really don't want to go after the TIE Silencer until you're ready to commit to killing it. So each time you do damage to it, it gains offense for the rest of combat. So if you hit the TIE Silencer, his TIE Silencer 4 or 5 times, and don't kill it, he'll be doing so much damage back that you'll lose in a hurry. So we really don't want to commit to damaging that TIE silencer until we're ready to finish it off. So we're going to remove his buffs, get rid of his extra protection and his advantage, just so he can't get that automatic crit. And then we're going to go after Xanadu Blood. Again, we don't want to mess around with Kylo until we have to. So I'm going after Xanadu again. And this is kind of an interesting point, because we go for damage here. And we got Xanadu really close, but I've got advantage up. And my damage is ramped up enough that I think I can one-shot Sabine Wren, and I don't get her. So that's a bit disappointing. We left her on a sliver of life, and she got some assists and stuff. So we'll finish off the Xanadu Blood, and now there's nothing left for us to hit but this TIE Silencer, because everybody else is under stealth. Now Reinforce is up, and I'm thinking about reinforcing here. And then I think, well, I really just need to stun Kylo. So we do that. We get the 2 assists. We stun him. And now that I'm all in. We gotta take him out. So we just put all of our efforts into him, take him out. But we didn't reinforce, so we're down 1 ship. So it was a trade-off. Now we can finish off Sabine in her ship, and then we can bring in the spy. All looking pretty good, but it's just not quite enough. And the Executrix gets off the ultimate, and at this level, that's enough to finish me off. So 1 hit away, and for that day, then, well, I'm stuck getting rank 13. 5 hours and 40 minutes left till my next available battle. So I'm out of refreshes, and I'm done for the day. But still, getting 113, and you saw that was, 195,000 galactic power against my 143, and all my ships are at level 77 max, and my capital ship is still at like 55. So it's possible in ships to get a much higher score with let's say, a more modest fleet. Then somebody said that I had a video where I said put potency on Geo Soldier to help stick tenacity down, and he said, well, I think tenacity down applies automatically, and I did not know that. And so I went out and looked at the mechanics, and I tried to find it, and it looks like the way the game applies it, you go through a series of checks first that says, let's say you got an 80% chance to apply the buff. So first you got to test and see if you applied the buff. In the case of tenacity down, you apply the buff, and then it goes through a check to see if the buff gets resisted and taken back off. So at that point, if you've already applied tenacity down, their tenacity is minus 999,990%, which means they have absolutely zero tenacity. There's only a few characters that at that point have anything to say about it. So the tenacity buff sticks. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So that's something new for me, and I guess I'll have to play around with. But I guess if the reason why you're giving your character potency is to put tenacity down onto characters, apparently tenacity down applies itself, and then the resist doesn't work because it's already applied. Interesting mechanic. It may help me, mod my geos a little bit differently. For now, I'm just going to leave it the way it is because I don't want to spend the money to move the mods, but something to know for the future. So that's it for the video today. Some updates, some questions answered, talk about the troopers a little bit. And if you like this discussion, if you think it's helping you at all as a newer player, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch more videos as they come out in the future.